with all the shocking things with all the shocking things the world number one shock jock has shocked us with, how shocking is it that Howard Stern is shockingly good at chess? Stern is watching right now. Maybe, you never know, he might be. I know that Stern had actually he had started following Coffee Chess recently on Twitter, so maybe there's some chance of something happening. Obviously that would be hilarious if he was on the stream, or if I had a chance to ever play him in person here in LA. But at any rate, he's been a long time fan of the game. Celebrities who are strong chess players. PogChamps 4 is coming up starting this Saturday, August 29th. If there's anything PogChamps has taught us, it's that you don't need to be a grandmaster to play entertaining chess. You can be an entertainer who plays chess, and there are a countless number of those, including several former PogChamps participants. Bobby Hall, also known as Logic, Rainn Wilson, Daniel Negreanu, and Hathor Julius Bjornsson, to name a few. Fair warning, it's impossible to make this list an exhaustive one, so at least one of your favorite chess playing celebrities is bound to be left off. We didn't necessarily go for the most famous people, but those with excellent documentation of their enthusiasm and chess skills. All right, so I see 3 pictures of people who definitely are chess fans. Okay, so let's see. So who do they list? They list Hubert Humphrey, Stanley Kubrick, George R.R. Martin, Woody Harrelson, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Peter Thiel, Howard Stern, and then they have an other section as well. Okay, so let's start. Okay, the first one is Humphrey Bogart, one of the most iconic actors in history. Let me stop the music. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, Humphrey Bogart, one of the most iconic actors in history. Humphrey Bogart was also quite a good chess player. In 1955, he played GM Samuel Reshevsky in a simultaneous exhibition. Reshevsky met Bogart's 2 knights defense with the sharpest reply, 4 knight g5, but the queens quickly came off and Bogart held a draw. Of course, everybody knows who Humphrey Bogart was, unless you're a Zoomer or something and you didn't watch black and white TV 30 or 40 years ago like I did. I guess it's further back, but anyway, yeah. So Humphrey Bogart was in Casablanca. I think there was a movie called was it the Maltese Falcon? I think as well. He was also in one other movie that I've seen. What is the third one? There's one other movie that I'm thinking of that's not popping. It's not popping into my mind. But there are 3 movies that I've seen him in. But yeah. So you only know Humphrey Bogart from Harry Potter. Okay, you guys. Thank you. Okay. All right. Yeah, African Queen. Yes, exactly. Yes, African Queen. You're right. Exactly. Yeah. Bogart should have played Capablanca. No, Casablanca is a city in Morocco, you guys, I believe. Isn't it or not? Or am I wrong? I think am I wrong on that? I think Casablanca is a city. If I'm not mistaken, it is, right? Yeah, it's a city in Morocco, right? So don't confuse Casablanca with Capablanca, to be clear. All right, so here's a game between Samuel Reshevsky and Humphrey Bogart from 1956, played right here in Los Angeles, California. Okay, let's see. So e4, e5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop c4, knight f6, knight g5. So Reshevsky goes for the fried liver, and Bogart falls for it, and Reshevsky play. Oh man, I'm sorry, you guys. Is today the day when I rant against everybody who used to play chess? How did Samuel Reshevsky not go for the fried liver with knight takes f7 here? That is so bad. That is so bad. That is just so bad. And this is why, again, it's very hard, because you don't want to criticize people from previous generations. But when I see this, and Samuel Reshevsky was a world-class chess player, probably I would say his peak, maybe top 5 in the world, but definitely top 10. And he didn't play the fried liver. It's definitely disappointing. Someone says, I always heard Reshevsky was a jerk. Yeah, you guys think that people today can be like nasty or rude after their games, but if you go back in time, people could be a lot worse. I remember talking to Nigel Short, who played Samuel Reshevsky. I think there were stories of like the following. I think Reshevsky, there were times when he wouldn't write down moves, so his opponents would get low on time, and they would say, or he would scribble, and it would be like they'd made move 40. I know he definitely was someone who I think blew smoke into his opponent's faces. And I think also there was something else that I was told about that Reshevsky did as well. So yeah, there were a lot of stories about Reshevsky that like make everybody in modern times look like very, very innocent children. So yeah, there were a lot of different things that I've heard about Reshevsky. Anyway, okay, let's keep going. D4 is played here. Nice to see that Nigel Short has adopted Reshevsky's behavior. D takes E5 is played here. Pawn takes G5, Queen D5, trade, Bishop E7, castles, Bishop F5. Actually, pretty good game. Sure, you can say that Bogart doesn't know the opening, but overall, it's pretty good. I mean, it shows enthusiasm. Oh, right, and he tries to trick Reshevsky with the ice skater here. If you take the knight, the rook comes all the way down. Pretty good game. Pretty good game by Bogart here. Although, I mean, Reshevsky should have won this game. It looks like he has two ops here. Take and go here, knight a4, bishop d4 trade, and takes. And I guess this game ends in a draw here. I don't really know why, or maybe it's a win. I'm not really sure, but at any rate, pretty good game, I would say, by Bogart. Okay, Bogart's son Stephen wrote a memoir in 1996, and chess crops up in it a few times. Stephen's dad believed that his concentration at chess was what he needed in acting, he writes. At another point, he mentions that Bogey said the key to good acting was concentration. You might recall the first shot of Rick in Casablanca shows him playing chess alone. Indeed, Bogart's most famous role, he is seen at a chessboard. A couple of images of it can be seen in the chess.com forum thread. All right, you guys, so you know what that means, of course. That means that, we're these are the final days of me streaming, and obviously, due to my immense abilities to concentrate, I'm going to be quitting streaming and becoming a full-time actor. I mean, that's what it means, right? If this is to be believed. All right, let's keep going. Next up is Stanley Kubrick. Okay, let's read. Stanley Kubrick. Perhaps no one on our list let chess permeate their line of work more than Kubrick. In the 1956 noir film The Killing, the protagonist meets an annoying kibitzer at the local chess club, who it turns out he has a job for. More famously, in 2001 A Space Odyssey, there's the game between HAL 9000 and Frank Poole, as well as a character called Dr. Andrei Smyslov, named after GM Vasily Smyslov. The game was modeled on a real one played in 1910. Alright, I know Kubrick. Who's Bogart? Humphrey Bogart was a very, very famous actor. You got to know who he was. Anyway, okay, so they have some game here. I guess this was a game from the Space Odyssey, 2001 A Space Odyssey. What was this game? I don't remember it. So it looks like just a classic Spanish. There's some trick here, right? You got something to D3, bishop H3, takes rook E1, queen F3, and okay, so I guess they say this position after bishop H3 is the one that they used in Stanley Kubrick's movie 2001 A Space Odyssey. All right, who's next? Kubrick told Newsweek while promoting The Shining in 1980 that he used to play chess for 12 hours a day from noon to midnight with breaks for food. Kubrick played in New York at its two most famous chess playing venues, both Washington Square Park and the Marshall Chess Club. Here's theoretical physicist Jeremy Bernstein talking about his experiences with Kubrick, including stories of them trying to out-hustle the other. Kubrick, like Bogart, also used to play chess on set. The YouTuber Cinema Tyler put together a 7-minute video about Kubrick and chess, which mentions Bernstein's story in 2016. I guess I'll watch this, why not?
Chess, a game of strategy, logic, and patience. In a May 1980 Newsweek article, legendary film director Stanley Kubrick had this to say about the game that had captivated him since he was a child. You sit at the board and suddenly your breast leaps. Your hand trembles to pick up the piece and move it. But what chess teaches you is that you must sit there calmly and think about whether it's really a good idea, and whether there are other, better ideas. Well, chess was actually part of the reason Kubrick got into filmmaking.
Really?
I was taught to play chess at the age of 12, but did not play seriously until about the age of 17, when I joined the Marshall Chess Club in New York on West 10th Street, between 5th and 6th Avenue. Okay.
This is the Marshall Chess Club where Kubrick played. Chess prodigy Bobby Fischer played here as well when he was only 13 years old. It was here at the Marshall Chess Club where Kubrick first met a film critic for the New York Telegram and Sun named Alton Cook, who got Kubrick interested in filmmaking. Only a few blocks away from the Marshall Chess Club is Washington Square Park, where Kubrick played chess for quarters and reportedly made about $20 a week.
Wow,
in an interview with Jeremy
so
Bernstein,
he played for quarters a week. That's crazy. Yeah, they skipped en croissant. I know that. But anyway, played for quarters a week. So he made $20. That means you have to win what? Four is $1. So he made like 40 quarters a week. So on average, over 7 days, he made like basically what do you make like or sorry, yeah, sorry, 20, not 10. You're right. So he made 80 quarters a week. So basically that means he made about a little over like $2.50 a day, you guys. $2.50 a day. That's a lot of, I wonder, is that a lot of money back then or not? I know there's inflation, but $2.50 a day, that's probably what, like $10 now, maybe around there. That's a tough living. I don't know. It's tough. That's like $10 probably, and it's pretty hard to live on $10 a day, isn't it? What year was he doing this in? I'm gonna take it. Let me see. I'm gonna guess this was probably what, like he said when he was a kid, right? So he was born in, let's take a look. Stanley Kubrick was born in 1928, so it's probably like, I'm gonna say like mid. Let me Google inflation calculator. Let's just assume it's like 1942 or 19. Let's assume 1946, so that's after the war. Okay, so what is $1 worth? If in 1946, $1. If 1946, I purchased an item for $1. Oh wow. Okay. Wow. Oh my gosh. So in 1946, you guys, I pulled up an inflation calculator. It says that if you purchase something for $1, that was the equivalent of $27.58 in 2021. So that's not crazy at all then. So if he was making 20, it says he was making like $20, right? That's like yeah, that would be yeah, that's not bad at all. It's like 275, 280, pretty good. That's actually not bad. That's probably back then that's good too. That's probably good. Not bad, but not incredible. Yeah, it's somewhere in the middle, but it's not, you're not broke, that's for sure. Yeah, that's definitely for sure. All right, let's keep going.
But when it came to filmmaking itself, Kubrick used what he learned from chess strategy and applied it to the decision-making process. In an excerpt from a Rolling Stone interview in 1987, interviewer Tim Cahill said to Kubrick, "Someone had asked you if there was an analogy between chess and filmmaking. You said that the process of making decisions was very analytical in both cases. You said that depending on intuition was a losing proposition." And Kubrick responded, "I suspect that I might have said that in another context. The part of the film that involves telling the story works pretty much the way I said. In the actual making of the movie, the chess analogy becomes more valid. It has to do with tournament chess, where you have a clock, and you make a certain number of moves in a certain time. If you don't, you forfeit, even if you're a queen ahead. You'll see a grandmaster. The guy has 3 minutes on the clock and 10 moves left. And he'll spend 2 minutes on one move, because he knows that if he doesn't get that one right, the game will be lost. And then he makes the last 9 moves in a minute, and he might have done the right thing." Well, in filmmaking, you always have decisions like that. You're always pitting time and resources against quality and ideas. I'll leave you with an excerpt from a French radio interview. You may hear some strange sounds occasionally. These are remnants of a French translation that was cut out of the clip.
It teaches you to overcome the initial excitement of something that looks good and to analyze it. Even Bobby Fischer or Karpov cannot see to the end of the game. I mean, they can analyze deeper than anybody else, but none of them can see all the way. Part of the decision is based on the analysis and the rest on the feeling. When you're making a film, basically you have to, once you start, you have to make most of your decisions on some sort of intuitive basis. There really isn't time. You have to make so many decisions that you couldn't possibly really sit down and analyze to any great extent. But at least, even if you stop for a minute, you will prevent yourself from making a mistake where something looks initially attractive, but when you really think about it, it isn't right. It's more, I would say chess is more for preventing you from making mistakes than it is for giving you ideas. The ideas seem to come spontaneously and seem to be born whole, but the discipline of examining them and not just saying, oh, that sounds great. I think that's something which chess teaches. Most of the mistakes you see in films are really because people just don't even know. If they avoided the mistakes, you wouldn't see so many things that everybody in the audience sees as stupid, but nobody seemed to realize it when they were doing it. I think it's really because there's an awful lot of filming that goes on where people literally just don't think for a moment. They get an idea, they just do it.
Thanks for watching. I want to give a special thanks to my
I have to say, like, out of all the videos that I've watched where people do analogies comparing chess to something, that's actually one of the absolute best ones I've seen, where it makes sense what he's saying. It's not something where it's like a stretch trying to connect the two, but it actually makes sense. That's a surprisingly good analogy. Like, because I've seen many people try to compare chess to many different fields, and generally there are certain things you can connect, but this is one of the very few that I've seen where, like, it actually all makes sense. So So it's very good. Of course, as someone said earlier, there you go, Hikaru. You're automatically qualified to be a movie director. So yeah. So basically, as you guys see, clearly, the reason I moved to LA is because I took all these things I had already like subconsciously knew about, and I'm going to become an actor, and I'm also going to become a director as well. Okay, let's go back to the article. Where Bogart saw concentration as a parallel between chess and acting, one of Kubrick's most interesting lines from the video essay was a parallel between chess and movie making. In both, you're always pitting time and resource against quality and ideas. And I think, like I said, I think it's very legit. I do. I think it's very true, because if you think about it, you go to a filming location, generally you have X amount of time. Like, let's just say you go to, I don't know, Tunisia to film Star Wars, for example. Like, they probably have like the film set for like, let's just say 6 months or whatever the time is. So it is very true that you only have X amount of time, and you have to do filming, and you do have to make a lot of decisions. So it's a very good one. I had not actually heard this before. So very interesting. Okay. Next up, we have none other than Mr. George R.R. Martin. It takes a long time to break through as a writer, and us writers should know. It also takes 20 years to write the last book of the series while I'm at it. Comment: did you just compare yourself to George R.R. Martin? Answer: not really, but also he's the guy who partially named himself after J.R.R. Tolkien. Although Game of Thrones did not get published until 1996, Martin was successful by writing standards for decades beforehand. And of all things, Martin credits chess for his breakthrough coming quicker. Instead of having a 9-to-5 job and weekends to write, Martin was able to work weekends and write during the week. His weekend gig, directing chess tournaments. He was trying to make it in writing just as GM Bobby Fischer was winning the world championship, and with it helping American chess to boom. So, as Martin tells it, he was making enough money just from the weekend tournaments to keep at the writing during the week. As a player, Martin said he briefly made expert, which would be a 2000 USCF rating. Other sources like chess.com have him peaking at 1905, which is where his USCF membership page puts him. Those probably aren't inconsistencies, just incomplete records. The main point is Martin was a very good player. All right. I actually knew about George R.R. Martin already. I forget who I heard this from, but he played on the college chess team. I don't know if it was the University of Chicago or if it was Northwestern, but I do know that he was very active in chess. Okay. In the 1980s, Martin wrote a short story with the chess theme, Unsound Variations. I probably couldn't write anything like it, but I could certainly play it in a tournament themed on such lines. Unfortunately, Martin no longer plays chess, and as with Kubrick, there are no records of his games. However, Martin's interest in the game hasn't waned, and he's a big fan of Netflix's The Queen's Gambit miniseries. Martin is the first of several people in this article to have a connection to GM Garry Kasparov, who named his 2015 book after a Martin line, Winter is Coming. All right. He better release the Winds of Winter soon. When was the last release? Was what, like, was it 99 or something? I mean, when was the last release? I can't even remember. When was the last release? I'm trying to remember. When was the last book released? Oh no, there was one more recently than that. Okay, it was 2011. Okay, yeah, I just know it's been forever. I don't like all this stuff blends together, but yeah, I know a lot of people are not happy about it. Let's leave it at that. All right. Next up is Woody Harrelson. Okay. The actor from the hit TV sitcom Cheers and movies like White Men Can't Jump, Zombieland, and Rampart, the last one is a little joke for any Redditors reading this, made the ceremonial first move at the 2018 World Championship. He later went on the FIDE broadcast with I Am Anna Rudolph and GM Judith Polgar. All right, I guess we'll watch this video. Why not?
We'll come back to this position and the analysis, but right now we have a special guest with us. He has been nominated for the Academy Award multiple times, won an Emmy for his role in Cheers, and is an avid chess fan. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Woody Harrelson in the studio.
Thank you.
So nice to see you, Woody.
Nice to see you.
Hi. Welcome.
It isn't the first time that you are visiting a World Chess Championship. Tell us about your experience in New York and here in London. How do you like the venue?
Yeah, the first time was in New York. That was a great experience. But this particular venue is really cool.
Sorry,
for me.
I think I will need to move this closer to you.
I said this particular venue is really cool for me, St. Martin's, because I had an office here for a while, a couple of months, and directed a movie with a few scenes shot inside of here, so I'm very familiar with this building.
Inside this building, you shot some of it. Wow.
Yeah. They do a lot of productions here, you probably know. But yeah, this is really cool that this is here. Very exciting.
How confident were you about your first move? And what is it that Fabiano told you, actually?
Well, I was trying to do something I thought might be funny, but apparently it was only funny to me.
It was funny
which
to
has
us,
happened
too.
a lot to me in life, but that I was moving I thought he said D4, but he said E4. So I was going to move the D4 pawn, but I knock over the king as if it's like an accident.
Okay.
And I pick it up. I looked over. Magnus thought it was funny, but then
Judith and you
It's
have
just
two
sound.
very
Woody
specific
Harrelson's voice
things
is
in
just
common.
soft,
Can
you
you
guys.
try to guess what
I
they
up
might
the
be?
volume.
other than general attractiveness,
Other than that, yes. Because that of course we take for granted. It's too easy.
right? So probe a little deeper.
You two competed very successfully against a world champion called Garry Kasparov.
Okay, she beat him.
She did, but
What about you?
succeeded in making a draw. Tell us about the game.
It was a draw because, I could never really get a draw with him. So I think sitting next to the American champion, who's like coughing as I make the wrong move, makes me pull it back and rethink it.
Okay, first of all, it's very funny that he says coughing, because I think anybody who's watched like enough videos online probably has noticed that that in a lot of videos you hear coughing when they're games with chess players. You hear a lot of coughing, so it's very funny that he says coughing there. Really, really funny.
You have had so many fascinating roles in your film career. I was wondering, which character would you pick if you were to face Magnus Carlsen? Which character of yours would have the best chance in a chess match?
Well, the only way I'd have a chance would have to be some kind of psychological edge. So maybe Mickey Knox from Natural Born Killers.
When did you learn to play chess, and what is it that you like about the game?
Whoa! By the way, you guys, wait a second. What is this? By the way, what is this? I didn't even notice this. Magnus is just wearing he's just wearing like a classic jacket here. This is like this is not appropriate attire by FIDE standards. What is this? What is this jacket? You're required to wear you're required to wear like a business attire. That's that's skeptical at best. London was cold. No. But my point's not that. You guys, the point is that I know that in FIDE contracts they say very clearly you have to wear business attire, and he's just wearing like a casual jacket. I mean, there's nothing wrong with a jacket, but they definitely say that you have to wear business attire. I didn't even notice that.
I started when I was probably like 11, and I just fascinated by all the possibilities. I make stupid moves a lot of time. I play online, and I make moves that I'm just, what was I thinking? The blitz. Everyone here probably plays. How you're playing the blitz.
Thank you so much for joining us, Woody.
Yeah, hey, pleasure.
Before you leave us, just tell us what result do you predict?
Jesus.
I know it's very tough. It's very tough to be a guest. I'm gonna put you on the spot. A result.
Well, I like White's position, Fabiano's position, but I'm going to predict a draw.
Very brave. Thank you so much for joining us. It has been Mr. Woody Harrelson.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
That was a little bit of a weird video. I'm not gonna lie. That was definitely a weird video. All right, let's keep going with the article. Okay. Harrelson briefly touched on his chess playing. He started playing around 11 years old and was fascinated by all the possibilities. Harrelson has a draw against Kasparov to his name, although the circumstances are important here. According to chessgames.com, it was basically a consultation, and a lighthearted one at that, between Harrelson and GM Yasser Seirawan. Harrelson was a little more circumspect in his description to FIDE, but he still suggested that his worst move ideas were overturned by a GM whom he only identified as the American champion, which Seirawan was 4 times. Coughing as a signal to change the moves. All right, you guys. So you know what? That's going to be my plan today not in PogChamp, sorry, but in Twitch Rivals. So if XQC is getting ready to make a bad move, I go, and then then just be normal. But so that's going to be my signaling for XQC today to change his move when he's about to make a bad move. All right. Okay, so they have a game between Woody Harrelson and Gary Kasparov. Isn't that cheating? No, of course I'm not going to do that. I'm making a joke, obviously. But yes, I would say that would be cheating. So yeah, I'm gonna take care of your throat. I'll need to take care of my throat from all the coughing. Right, exactly. Yeah, I'll have a sore throat by the end. I'll have a very sore throat by the end of it. Yeah. All right. Okay, so they have the game here. What is this game? Let's just see. Oh, Queen H5. Very exciting. Okay. All right, pretty normal. Okay, it looks like just a standard game. Takes 92. Takes. Okay, very normal game actually. And I guess this game just ends up being a draw. It's a consultation game played in Prague, it looks like, in 1999, long time ago. And it ends in a draw. All right. So next up, what do we have? We have this. We have Harrelson is not the only celebrity to play Kasparov in chess. Sting of the band The Police, and talk show host David Letterman are others. Letterman basically got Kasparov to commit to a month-long bit in 1989 and 1990, where the world champ would literally phone in his moves. Even after Letterman lost his queen on move 14, he kept going until mate on move 23. Another celebrity Kasparov opponent is, of course, none other than the legend Arnold Schwarzenegger. By the way, though, if you guys are unfamiliar with Woody Harrelson, he has a pretty fascinating life story. I think his father, if I'm not mistaken, was an actual hitman. So it's like his whole life story is pretty wild. So you should definitely check it out if you're unfamiliar with it. All right. So next up is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Schwarzenegger, who appeared on the author's college radio show. Okay, it was actually a friend doing an impersonation of Arnold. Has done more than a lot of chess players to promote the game of chess. His Arnold Classic Series competitions played on several continents, feature dozens of fields, and chess is one of them. Chess.com covered the 2019 Africa edition of his games, where Schwarzenegger recounted in 2019 that he played a lot of chess in his youth. Twitter is full of examples of Arnold at a chessboard. Yeah, there's so many pictures. You see this picture of Arnold playing here when he's young, and he's playing on like the private jet here when he's quite a bit older, but always playing chess. All right, and then we see another example caught Kasparov's attention. I don't have a horse, so I'll play whichever one of you two wins out of 3. Because this is a tweet by Arnold that says, here's your daily Lulu update. She's not the best chess partner, but she's getting there. If you've been putting off something like learning chess with your family, use the time you'd normally be out and about. And then there's another tweet from Kasparov. I've always suspected that your draw against me in 2002 inspired you to run for governor. All right. Yeah, so let's keep rolling. It says another although no game scores of Arnold's efforts at the board are available, he's clearly been a longtime player and fan. So yeah, I think Arnold's about 1500, maybe 1600. Probably I would say the most well-known of the celebrities. Just maybe not most well-known overall, but he's the one who's done the most with chess, I would say, or it's known that he's done stuff with chess. Next up, of course, is Peter Thiel. Peter Thiel, that's actually National Master Peter Thiel. The billionaire entrepreneur and PayPal co-founder was strong enough to be titled in the United States and played 10 FIDE rated games in 2003. His rating after was 2199 FIDE, 1 point shy of the level required for the candidate master title, which had been introduced the year before. His USCF rating peaked at 2342 and he ended up at 2287. Thiel even finished ahead of GMHikaru Nakamura in a tournament. To be fair, it was in the year 2000 and Nakamura was 12 years old and not even an IM yet. The event was the US Open, where Thiel finished 17th on 7.2 and Nakamura's 6.5 put him in 20th. Exactly one spot ahead of Thiel in 16th was Chess.com's own IM Danny Wrench, who would have been 14 years old. Thiel was already 33. I don't know which US Open that was, but it's pretty funny. Thiel hasn't played competitively for years, but still makes some time for chess, showing up at the 2016 World Championship between GM Magnus Carlsen and GM Sergei Karyakin to make the ceremonial first move of the rapid tiebreaks. He also made an hour-long documentary with Kasparov in 2010, where they mainly talked about things besides chess. The year isn't apparent unless you catch their trip to the Marshall Chess Club, smartly chosen as the thumbnail, where at one point they discussed Carlsen withdrawing from the candidates tournament during a cameo by GM Maurice Ashley. So yeah, I will say, let me finish the rest of this little tidbit and I'll say a couple things here. Thiel's chess experience gave him encounters over the board with several American chess legends. Games versus GM Robert Byrne and GM Bill Lombardi give Thiel a connection to Bobby Fischer, while his contests against GM Gregory Serper and GM Alex Yermolinsky give Thiel a chess.com connection. Thiel also once held a draw in 1998 against 2021 US senior champion GM Gregory Paidana. All right, so that's a little bit on Peter Thiel. He is probably the only person here on this list of the people that like that I've met and I've spoken to that I know personally of these celebrities. All the other ones I don't think I've met. What I would say about Thiel is that he's probably stronger than 2199, having like I think when I saw him it's probably about 2014, maybe 2015, somewhere around there. And what I would say is that his level is probably closer to like 2300, but the reason his rating is a little bit lower is because he doesn't study chess, and he doesn't study the opening specifically, which is really important if you're trying to up your rating. So the main thing is just he doesn't have the openings, but his understanding is probably closer to like I would say 2250, 2300 objectively. All right, so he PayPal's his opponents. No, good one. But yeah, he's probably the strongest of this group as well, I would say. All right, next up we have the legend, Howard Stern. With all the shocking things the world #1 shock jock has shocked us with, how shocking is it that Howard Stern is shockingly good at chess? For years he played and received coaching and got pretty good, reaching about a 1700 rating on his internet chess site of choice, the Internet Chess Club. The New York Times talked about it in 2008. In 2010, Stern's coach, Dan Heisman, shared this Stern miniature with the USCF. All right, is this a long article or not? Let me see. How long is this article? Okay, it's not a long article, so let's cover this article briefly. Long a player, Howard Stern gets serious about his game. 2 weeks ago, Howard Stern, the New York radio shock jock, married his longtime companion Beth Ostrowski. Reports about the wedding noted that Ostrowski ran 18 miles the next day as part of her training for the New York City Marathon on November 2nd. There was no mention of what Stern did, but the odds are he played chess. In a phone interview just before the wedding, Stern said that he plays every day and prefers playing chess to doing just about anything else. Anything. Stern said people who know about his interests often say, "You have this hot model girlfriend, you should be having sex with her." And I say, I can have sex too, and then go back and play chess. Stern said that someone he knew when he was growing up on Long Island taught him to play, but that his father told him the guy was a jerk and probably taught him incorrectly. Turned out he was right, Stern said. All right. A couple of years ago, he found the website of Dan Heisman, a Philadelphia chess teacher and master. He has been taking lessons from Heisman over the internet since then and now regularly plays on the Internet Chess Club site. He has managed to get his ranking called a rating above 1,600. Stern said he usually carried chess books with him. Among the current titles are A First Book of Morphy by Frisco del Rosario, Chess Tactics for Students by John Bain, the Chess Tactics Workbook by Al Woolham, and the Dynamic English by Tony Costin. Another well-known New York radio personality, Don Imus. Okay, he's been canceled, I think. Anyway, another well-known New York radio personality, Don Imus, also plays chess and has been taking lessons on and off for several years. He and Stern, however, have never played each other. Stern said he admired top players and often went to the Internet Chess Club site to follow the live analysis of big tournament games. His bride, he said, does not share his interests. Recently, while he was following the commentary of Larry Christensen, an American Grandmaster, Ostrowski walked in. She was like, "Oh my God, how dull." I'm like, dull. No, this guy is brilliant. Stern said he had a lot to learn about chess, but he was happy with the following games that he played on the chess site. The first, where he was white, was against an opponent rated 1,600. The second, where he was black, was against a player rated 1,900. All right, so that's this article. That's pretty funny, I have to say. How dull, just how dull, right? All right, back to the article. So we have this game. What was this game? This was NN versus Howard Stern. Oh, he played the Budapest Gambit. D5, Bishop C5, H3, takes, King takes, Knight E4, King F3, Queen H4, G4 F5. Very good game. Takes, Rook F8, takes. That's a good game. Good game. Very, very good game by Howard Stern. Really good. Although I think it's a well-known tactic as well. Okay. At least in part for reasons consistent with the character of his programming as a radio host, there's at least one story where Stern was so into chess that he neglected his wife. He stopped in 2011. Cold turkey, as Heisman put it, in 2019. The other, probably more truthful reason Stern quit was it became obsessive for him. Some of us have time for that. I guess he doesn't. And he's still married to the same person today, so it didn't kill that relationship. But Stern's interest in the game hasn't appeared to wane in the years since. In 2019, Stern had on his show the author Sasha Chapin, whose All the Wrong Moves was about his chess development and heavily featured GM Ben Feingold. Stern has presumably watched Feingold's streams at least once, given he apparently called the Chess.com partnered streamer endlessly entertaining. Like Kubrick, Stern often played at the Marshall Chess Club in New York, according to both Heisman and the story. Another Marshall Chess Club alumnus was the artist Marcel Duchamp. Yeah, so as far as Stern goes, I had actually known about this for a very long time. I don't know if he's still playing chess all the time, but he is someone who has loved chess. Stern is watching right now. Maybe, you never know, he might be. I know that Stern had actually he had started following Coffee Chess recently on Twitter. So maybe there's some chance of something happening. Obviously, that would be hilarious if he was on the stream, or if I had a chance to ever play him in person here in LA. But at any rate, he's been a long time fan of the game. All right, let's keep going. Other chess playing celebrities. Albert Einstein, a close friend of former world champion Emanuel Lasker. Albert Einstein, a close friend of former world champion Emanuel Lasker. 2 games attributed to Einstein can be found online. Benjamin Franklin, a member of the United States Chess Hall of Fame. Franklin once said, "We learn by chess the habit of not being discouraged by present bad appearances in the state of our affairs, the habit of hoping for a favorable change, and that of persevering in the search of resources." Stephen Fry, the erudite British comedian, often wrote about chess in the late 1980s. Edward Winter has more here. An interesting insight from Fry. Strong is the word chess players use, not clever or cunning or brilliant or gifted. Although those qualities may be necessary, it is the strongest man who wins. Okay, so let's keep going. Next up, we have Giannis Antetokounmpo. I know I'm mispronouncing that. We don't know how strong Giannis is at chess, but he got the attention of Kasparov and Carlsen in 2020. Chess is tough. It takes skills. You can't just be 7 feet and dunk over everybody. Okay, good tweet. I would also say it's pretty funny. It's pretty funny looking at this tweet here. It says late night chess game with Mariah Dene 15, and this of course is chess. Although I think the king and queen are set up. There was something wrong. Maybe this picture is correct, but I do know that several of the players on the Milwaukee Bucks do play chess, and I am trying to actually organize something down the road potentially. So I won't say anything further, but I am aware of this as well. Okay. Lennox Lewis, heavyweight boxing champion Lennox Lewis, went on Joe Rogan's podcast in 2020 and talked about chess. Occasional NSFW language, although not from Lewis. Lewis even shared his chess.com member name at Inter2000. I guess everybody can see it in the article. Should I click it? Let's see. Inter2000. What's his rating? Let's take a look. Let me change the scene 1 second. How's this? Let's see. What is his rating? His rating is it looks pretty good. It looks 1597. Highest was 1312. Rapid is 1100. So actually he could probably be in PogChamps. He's got the right rating for PogChamps for sure. If he wanted to play in it, he's like 1100 at Rapid. That's pretty good. Pretty good. I feel like in PogChamps there are only maybe like 2 or 3 people who are better by rating. So all right, so that's good. Let's go back. 1 second. Where were we? Scroll down. All right, so we were right here with this with this Giannis bit. Lennox Lewis. Okay, Ray Charles, the musician, played an offhand game versus GM Larry Evans for Chess Life in 2002, and we have a game here which is I guess against Larry Evans. This was just normal game. Let's see. This is pretty standard. Looks pretty good actually. Pretty good opening by Queen D3 is not best. White should castle, but it's still pretty good. It looks completely reasonable as a game. Okay, Rook D1 is not best. You should obviously take the pawn at E4, but overall pretty respectable, I would say. Yeah, I assume probably the way he played this game is I assume he had a, so there are chess tournaments that are played, and there are players who are blind who do compete in them, and what they do is normally they have a chess set that's like how do I put it? It's like it's not Braille's the wrong way of putting it, but they can feel the chess pieces on that board. And I mean, I don't know how it works, so obviously they can't visualize, but they can feel the pieces, and they're able to basically do some kind of calculation, and it's incredible to see. It's really amazing. It's a textile set, okay. But at any rate, yeah, incredible. Conclusion: chess is a game for everyone, even for celebrities and people who are focused on other things. Maybe that's why PogChamps exists. All right, be sure to tune in to PogChamps 4 on August 29th. Pretty good article overall. I feel like most of these names are good. There's a lot of stuff that could be said. I mean, celebs is I think I'm trying to think, are there any other obvious ones that are missed here? Let me just scroll up again just to see. They list these people: Thiel, Stern, Arnold, Woody Harrelson. Those probably are the biggest ones right now, I would say. Actually, yes, you know who else should have been in here was Heath Ledger. He was another actor who was very good at chess. I think Heath Ledger is maybe like 2000 or 2100 level. He won junior tournaments in Australia, so he probably should have been he should have been included on this list, since there were a couple other people who are no longer with us. So that is probably a fair one. Yeah, that was someone they forgot. It was probably Heath Ledger. Beyond that, I think it's hard to find strong ones on this list who are missing. I think this is pretty much everybody who plays at a high level. Logic, Rainn Wilson, of course, but yeah, they forgot XQC. Yeah, XQC is, well, I'm gonna be playing with XQC a little bit later. So that was the second article.